Hey guys, Jason here. Today we're going to make chicken soup. And it's basically just exactly the way I make my turkey soup with my turkey leftovers from Thanksgiving or the holidays, whichever, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, or whatever occasion we pick to bake a big turkey. I always take the leftovers and turn it into soup for work. Well, I've run out this year. My wife had some back issues last holiday season. We only did the Christmas turkey, and the Thanksgiving turkey. Christmas and New Year's we didn't cook nothing, so I didn't can nothing up. I'm out of soup to take to work, so this past weekend, amongst all the trouble with the farm, we baked 2 chickens up on Saturday night and chopped up the meat off of them and took them to make sandwiches with all day Sunday when we worked the fence line. And been snacking on that all week, but Monday evening, my wife put those 2 chicken carcasses in the stock pot you see sitting over there on the stove and brought it up to a boil, and then cut it down and let it simmer. Now today is Thursday, so we've had a good 60 plus hours of that simmering. And let me take you over there and show you what it looks like. We've got that's what's left of 2 chickens. Once the meat was removed off of it, and that's not including the leg bones. I broke the legs off and the wings off and put them separate, and had them for another snack. So that didn't go in there. That's basically 2 chicken carcasses cooked down into what we have here. Now, let me see if I think the light is on. No. Light was not on. But this is what we have. Beautiful golden broth. We'll put some rosemary in there. When we bake these chickens, we split a lemon up and put inside both of them. We've got some onion flavor in there and all. But that's going to be the broth for my soup. So let's see here. Also, I don't know about y'all, but when I'm canning, I take my best holy or religious towels and put them in the floor, because anyway, it just turns into a terrible mess. But anyway, let's what I've done here is cooked up 2 more chickens. Now, we could repeat this process over and over again, but I'm going to shred these up, and they're going to be the chicken for my soup. Like I said, I got some rosemary on there, some salt, pepper, some olive oil drizzled over them. It looked delicious. I ain't like that big old cast iron skillet my wife found. I told her when she brought it home, I said, what are we ever going to do with that? Well, we found a use for it. But anyway, let me get the veggies all chopped up here and get those jars simmering or boiling rather, get them sterilized, and get this took out to the cats. And I'll bring you back in a few when we get to the next most interesting step, like maybe putting the stuff in the pressure canner. Oh, always, if you're using this kind, double check your gasket, folks. Last time I made some of my famous turkey soup, my gasket, I noticed it leaking at the beginning of the process. By the end, I just almost steamed that thing out of water, and that's not good. So anyway, put you on the stand over here and bring you back in just a few for the next step. Okay guys, well, we're to the point now we're ready to fill our jars up. So got my great value mixed vegetables. Now since these are frozen vegetables, you got to let your jars cool just a little bit. If you dump them mixed vegetables in there, them frozen vegetables in with them still scalding hot, right fresh out of the being sterilized, they'll crack on you. So just a heads up on that. Just want to put a little bit in each one. You get the idea. And I like extra carrots and extra celery. It's just yummy. Alright. Now then, from there, add our chicken. Wound up with nice big pan of chicken breast. Legs and all are still over there. Let's see what I got here. Blade. I'll just take chop some chicken up in each jar, and we get it to where we like it. Throw a little more celery in there. Alright. Now I'm using the Tattler lids. And with the Tattler lids, piece of carrot, you have to leave a little extra headspace. So I'm going to go 3/4 of an inch to an inch of headspace. Here, I never use this thing. Where's the inch marker? Yep, we're right there at an inch. I'm going to add just a drop more of broth. Now from there, alright, let me show you one more time how I'm tightening these lids up. These Tattlers. And I'll cut in a little clip of why you should be very, very cautious with these things. Last year doing turnips, I had one come unglued on me. It actually left a permanent mark. Could have been much, much worse. When it came out of the canner, the lid was bubbled up like this, and I noticed a couple of my lids were bubbled up like that going in. When I went to give it that final squeeze like they tell you to do on the instructions, it blowed that ring and lid right off and scalded the heck out of me. Now, Tattler wrote back to me and told me that it was my fault because I had tightened the lid too tight and the jar didn't vent. And they sent me some enhanced instructions basically, you put this on till you feel some resistance, and that's about it. So that thing will vent. And then as soon as you pull it out of the canner, you've got to put some thick, heavy gloves on and give that band a good tightening. Like I say, if that jar comes out and the lid's bulged up like this one here, just set it to the side, let it cool off, and because well, like I say, you'll see. I'll cut in a little clip of that video where that one blew up on me, and you don't want that happening. Trust me. Son of a... Alright, well, we're almost through with this process here, but I wanted to give you a little glimpse on the inside of the canner. These don't work, the pressure canner don't work like a water bath. You don't cover the jars. You just make sure you get enough in there so that the pressure will build up and the steam will get around those lids and force the oxygen out of the jars and create your vacuum. But you don't cover the jars in a pressure canner. You might add a splash of vinegar in that water as well to keep it from clouding up your jars. So let me finish up here. Be back in a minute. Well, alright guys, ready to put this stuff in the pressure canner, and I'll be honest with you, when I told you just a second ago that I'd be back in just a minute, well, it's 2 days later. I got 14 jars out of the first batch, but I was running late for my youngest daughter's graduation, so when the timer went off and those had finished processing, I had 10 minutes for the pressure canner to cool down and get these things out and on the counter and get out the door. So I didn't have time to crack open the camera and get things going. But as you can see, got 14 jars there that sealed perfectly. Now, since you can't really take a Sharpie and write on the top of the Tattler lids, what I've done is I've got myself one of these oil pencils. They're pretty cheap. I think I got this in at Tractor Supply. They were like 2 for 98 cents if I remember right. I could be wrong. They might be more than that, but they'll write on that, and you can just take and rub that oil mark off with your finger, or it'll wash off anyway. Long story short. Anyway, I got 14 more pints here to get the lid on and get into the pressure canner. So we'll follow through with the pressure canning process on this batch. Okay, at this point what we're doing is we've got the lid latched down good. We've got it on high, got the eye on high. What we're waiting for is we're waiting for steam to start coming out of this little valve, this little vent here. We're waiting for this little safety valve to pop up. And once this pops up, we let it vent steam out of this for 10 minutes. And then we'll drop our little weight back here. At that point, we'll be looking for 10 pounds of pressure for my area. This is figured on altitude, so you'll have to consult the Ball Blue Book for your location as to what pound or pressure to can your whatever you're doing. You can probably find it off the Ball website as well. But for my area, it's 10 pounds of pressure, and for what I'm doing, the chicken that I'm doing, in pints, it's 75 minutes. If you're doing quarts, it'd be 90 minutes. So we'll let this thing run, and hopefully we'll catch this little valve popping up. Like I said, that's a safety valve right there. If this gets clogged and it starts building too much pressure, or you forget and leave it on high or something, this is designed to blow completely out before the lid blows off. So it's and release the steam. So you know, dealing with high pressure here, really shouldn't walk away and leave this thing at all. You really should just stay with it the entire time it's running. But now's the time to smoke them if you got them, or sit down with a good book, because you're going to be in here a while. Alright, we're getting that steady stream now. That little safety valve should be popping up just any second. There we go. Alright, I'm going to shut the camera off, and we're going to let this guy vent for 10 minutes. Alright, it's been 10 minutes. This thing's been venting. I spun it around so you can see the gauge. It's already up to a couple of pounds of pressure without the little weight on it. And you'll see, maybe you can see, I don't know. First time I've tried to turn the camera and have it watch the gauge, but or what did I say? Turn the camera. First time I've ever turned the cooker, so that y'all can watch the gauge. But it's climbing pretty quick. It's already up to 4 pounds of pressure. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this guy down to medium heat, down to 5, from high to 10 down to 5. And most likely, seeing as this is an electric eye, what I'll have to do, I wish I had a gas stove, but it's not in the budget at the moment. But most likely what I'll have to do is sit here and keep my eye on this thing and sort of play with it. I'll probably hover between 10 and 12 pounds, watching it rise and fall, and sort of switching back and forth from low to 1 and 2 settings on it to keep it right at that 10-11 pound mark. I just don't want it to go below 10. A little over is not that bad, but if you get it too high, if you get it up 15 or so, it'll start pushing your product out of your jars. You're going to lose a little product anyway. You'll see that with doing spaghetti sauce and stuff like that, more so than you will with soup. But some of the product will come out during the pressure canning process while the jars are venting. But like I say, you get that thing up to too much pressure, and you'll lose a good bit of product. So it's been my experience anyway. We're going to let her run on up to 10 pounds here, and then really it'll just be like watching paint dry. I mean, you'll have to, if you got an electric eye, you'll have to play with the burner a little bit, and or the element a little bit, and regulate your heat. If you got a gas stove, it's probably not so much. Alright, 75 minutes is up. That was a lifetime, like watching paint dry, but I had to stand here and adjust that little knob on this thing a time or two, just to make sure that we didn't go too high or too low. So now we let it sit until it gets to 0. We take the little jiggler thing, the weight off of it, and then we can open her up. Email. Pressure is down to 0. Time for the lid to come off. Avoid steam in the face. Let's get that direction. Alright. Top layer is looking pretty good. See if I can do this without dropping it. Can you see that? It's just cooking like crazy. I'll move you here in just a second. Let me get these out. Now remember, the instructions say on these Tattler lids to go ahead and tighten them down, so you got to have yourself some heavy gloves ready to rock as you pull this stuff out of the canner. None of these are bulged up like the one that got me. These are all nice and concave. I think it was my old friend Genius in Exile. Gee, she said, beware the convex. All I know is, yeah. Well, I know very little. All right. Let me get you off your stand here so you can see this. Oh, look at these guys, boy. They are really cooking. I mean, if there's any doubt in your mind about raw packing meat and pressure canning it, that ought to absolutely clear any doubt. That stuff is still cooking. Now, the way I did this is I did go ahead and bake the chicken just because it'd be easier to cut up and shred and put in the soup, and I've done it before and it tastes wonderful. But if you're doing ground beef, a raw pack on that, bacon, ham chunks, you know, putting it in there raw and letting the pressure cooker do the cooking, I'm telling you, this stuff is still cooking. It'll be bubbling like this for the next 30 minutes in my experience, but there you go. I'll and don't know if you can tell, but they're already sucking down even better. You don't get that delightful ping with the Tattler lids, but the thing about it is you can pull these Tattler lids off, and as long as you don't nick that little red rubber gasket, you'll be able to use these over and over again. So I'll be back here in a few hours. Actually, probably tomorrow morning. Go ahead and take these bands off because I don't want my bands rusting on my on my Tattler lids, and we'll see. We'll double check and make sure. I'll show you how to make sure. It's real simple. I'll show you right now, just for the fun of it. Just on one of these back here that's done. The way you check and make sure that your Tattler lid is sealed well is you take it by the Tattler lid and hold the jar up. Give it a little shake. That's that. If it'll do that, it's sealed good. It takes much more than that to pull it off, because I've been using these quite a bit. You have to take the back side of a butter knife blade and push up. They actually make a Tattler lid removal tool, and for some reason a lot of people say that they've got them with orders of a case of lids, but I ordered a case of lids and I did not get a Tattler lid removal tool. That's okay. I can use the back side of a butter knife and remove it just as easy myself. But there you go. I think my new instructions are going to work out pretty good. So, anyway, guys, be back tomorrow. But that's the that's all. I guess at this point we'll just say the end. Hope y'all are having a good week. Y'all take care. Jason out. Okay, am I the only one while pressure canning find myself humming doom 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 doom?